Alright, let's get into the guide on how to play Viv Vision. This is a question that I've been asked a lot because she is a little bit tricky to play. She does have a lot of different mechanics that are a little bit more advanced for some people. And I'm just going to start this first fight out. We're just going to run quickly over what I'm doing. And then in the next fight, I'm going to break down really slowly exactly what's happening. So right now, I'm just using my parry to trigger her phase. And this means I don't have to parry. Then I'm going to throw my SP2 with the block taps. And that gives me all my solar charges that I need from SP1. And once I get to the SP1, then we do the big damage. And like I said, this is just a really quick rundown, and I'm going to go into details of what everything in her kit means right after you see her nuke down this Deadpool with the SP1. And he is dead right here. Alright, so that's how you're going to play her. Now let's break into what just happened, because there's a lot going on in that fight. Okay, so let's start out with the basics. Viv has solar energy. She starts the fight with 3, and every 4 seconds she gains 1 until 5. She doesn't gain them over time once she gets 5. When she consumes, for any reason, that solar energy, she gets 10% of a bar. It's a really nice power gain. If she finishes a combo with a light, she converts that energy into a suppression, and it's short, but it is paused when she's not attacking, so it lasts the whole combo. And then, if she finishes with a medium, she places the heal block for 6 seconds, but is paused while she's attacking, and not paused when she's standing or doing something else. So those are some nice utilities that she has, the suppression and the heal block, just for finishing a combo. So phasing. Phasing happens when she would parry. And instead of getting the parry stun, she's instead going to trigger a phase for about a second. And this comes back every time you consume solar energy, but you've got to make sure that you did consume the solar energy to get it back, because then you won't have the phase. You'll see the phase icon there if you need it. Now, with SP2, this is how you're going to build up your solar charges that you need. So you're going to consume your armor ups by tapping the block just before her hit, and then you're going to gain the solar energy. And the block taps are tricky. I'm going to go over how to do those later in the video, because they are tricky to time perfectly. So yeah, I'll show you exactly when you need to tap your block later. And so now, what I'm going to do is use my SP1 as a kill shot. And what the SP1 does, it does a bunch of incinerate damage or plasma versus mutants on every hit. And if the opponent is below 1 bar of power, which they weren't here, it's unblockable. So then I can just spam it easily and not have to try to bait an opportunity right there. Okay, so that's how you play Viv. You're going to parry and then gain a phase, then you just build up to your SP2, tap the block when you need to, which I'm going to get into later, and then you do the SP1s. So this is what her SP2 looks like. She's going to slow down the fight, and it's going to give you the opportunity to hit your block button when you want to. So here's the first one, right before she does her kick. Then the second one, this is the hardest one, it's going to be right after she comes out of the ground. The third one is also kind of hard. It's going to be right before she stomps the ground. Fourth one, right before she does her punch. And then the fifth one, right before the final kick. So I'm going to go over this one more time. Okay, so she's going to do her kick there. We tap the block right before the kick. Then right before she comes out the ground. Right before the stomp. Right before the punch. And right before the final kick. This takes a lot of practice. Don't expect to get this early. So now, does she need the Awaken ability? It's really nice to have. Is it necessary? I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but it is important, I think, to where you should definitely give her a gem if you can. You can play her without it, but the damage is a little lower than you'd like. What it does is that when you consume a solar charge, you're going to place an energy vulnerability, and this just means that your SP1 is going to hit a lot harder. And it also gives you more power that the SP1 gives you power back, but now it's going to give you even more power back from using it on the hits. Alright, so this here is going to be a utility showcase. So Viv, when she has an armor up, which is almost all the time, she is Nullify and Fate Seal immune. Not Stagger, but Nullify and Fate Seal. And this is a war fight. It's got Buffet. I missed a parry there, don't mind it. It's got Buffet, and Buffet nullifies your buff and then gives them a really nice regen when it happens every 7 seconds. But Viv's immune to Nullify, so that node doesn't even exist. So now we're just trying to nuke him down, get to the SP1, and then he's going to be very dead. Like, right here, I waited to throw it, now I'm going to throw it. And he's taking so much damage, he is completely destroyed by that SP1. So that's a really nice showcase of her utility against Nullify. So this is another utility piece that she has. She can remove prowess with her heavy attack, and this is really important for champs like MCoC and some other big prowess gainers like maybe Kitty or something. And if you use the heavy attack, it removes, I think, up to 3. I don't even remember what the text just said there. But this obviously means you take less damage if you actually have to block. And another thing Viv has that is really awesome is that her phase works against non-basic attacks too, to where you can do that. You just completely miss all of MCoC's SP1, and it's so awesome that you can just phase through that like you would with Ghost. But honestly, it's a lot less stressful than Ghost because you don't have to worry about having that precision up and not being able to do it. So I'm just trying to finish the fight like I normally would against this MCoC that I'm just practicing against, just to show how the heavy attack does stuff. And he is dead. So if you have any questions about how to use Viv, I tried to cover all the bases, especially that SP2. If you have any questions, I will happily try to answer them in the comments, and I should be able to answer them because I know a lot about her. And yeah, feel free to ask, and I hope you enjoyed the video.